Hi, welcome back to Carla Astrology. Today we are going to be talking about the ENFJ. Um, but before I get into that, I want to talk a little bit about, you know, uh, the education that I have thus far. And it's just, I consider it being self educated. It's like I didn't go to school, I took some courses, I've read quite a few books. And uh, so it's just been my own personal studies. And I believe that, so what I'm giving you is more of an educated opinion. So, and like I took a course on Udemy, and the instructor's name is Karen E. Wells. And the course was like 90 some dollars at the time when I purchased it, but I thought it was pertinent to purchase it at that time. Why I say that is because Udemy has sales all the time. And I think it's on sale right now for maybe $15 or $16. So I mean, it's a really good course. They have a self assessment at the end of it, um, and I think that it's good to test your knowledge. So taking a course like that, I think, is great, and you don't have to spend a lot of money. I do believe that you can take like actually go to school for like hand science. I don't know that much about it, but I mean chiromancy is an actual science, so is chirognomy. So um and there's a lot to know. So my information that you are receiving in these videos is just educated opinions, and it can always change because I am also a novice. I have never read a palm for money. I've never done it professionally. So I receive knowledge. I'm just sharing it. I think that palmistry is very interesting because I also believe, as Carl Jung has stated, that it is the map of the mind. And I've noticed change in my hand. So yeah. So let's talk about the ENFJ. Now, the last video, I associated the ENTJ with the fire hand. Now, the main reason that I associate uh, with the actual shapes in the hand, hold on, I have to unlock my iPad, is because I also associate our Myers Briggs personality, as Carl Jung did, with tarot. So anything starting with an E or ending with a J is a king uh, personality. And the ENFJ is the King of Cups, whereas the ENTJ was the King of Wands. So I'm just associating the hand type or the hand shape with that element. Um, and so, with that being said, water has a rectangular palm and long fingers, but also the water hand has a lot of fine lines. Um, they look like they're stress lines. So I mean, and I think that kind of goes hand in hand. And I want to keep this kind of short because I'm also going to put out a video after this um, about the hand shapes again. I think I'm going to use Karen Wells because she uses Western. So I will use her analogies of the hand shapes. Um, so that everybody gets a little bit of a better understanding, because there is, it's not just black and white. There's so many blended type hands. And again, the only reason I associate and point out the actual fire hand with the ENTJ and the water hand with the ENFJ is because of the tarot association. I think that there can be a blending in each of our hands. So like regardless of what our personality type is. So the ENFJ, that means they're extroverted, they are intuitive, they are feeling, and they are judging. So they their strengths. Well, first let's talk about what they have a name, and the ENTJ was the commander. The ENFJ is the protagonist. So, and the protagonist is like the main character in the story. So it's, that's the personality type that seems to be the leader, or everything is centered around, and so you can almost visualize what type of a personality that is. Their strengths are that they are receptive, reliable, passionate, altruistic, meaning they want a better world, and charismatic. And we're going to find those strengths in like the fact that they're extroverted. We're going to see a big Jupiter. Saturn is where we're going to find they are altruistic, because Saturn is where we find, the humanitarians. They're going to have a big Apollo still, because these are successful people, or they have the capability of being very successful. And then the Mercury is still going to be pronounced, because Mercury is still about communication, and extroverts, they tend to put themselves out there and communicate well. Their weaknesses are they could be unrealistic, overly idealistic, condescending, intense, and overly emphatic. So that also means that we're going to see a big moon in the ENFJ. Your psychic, individuals are going to have a big moon. But speaking of the ENFJ, I believe that they could be fairly psychic, because when you are receptive, or you tend to be overly emphatic or emotional, when you pick up on other people's emotions, it's a form of, it's a clair, I believe. You just know things. You just feel things. I can't think of all the names of the clairs right now. So high Jupiter, high Apollo, and high Mercury, I believe you're going to see in all extroverts anyway. But I believe that this mount right here is going to be huge. Because they're also, these are the people that they're the leaders in that type of like in spiritual matters. They're the people out there that want to change the world. So, and then the moon is all about our inner desires, our dreams. So that's like the hidden, and cups has a lot of, I believe that water is associated with the moon. So I do believe that the moon is going to be big. Part of something that I didn't mention, sorry, I itched my back there. Something that I didn't mention in the last video is if you go like this, just kind of relax your hand, maybe put it on the table. If it's normal for you to go like this, that does mean that you're a little bit closed off, in your how you relate to other people. You're not as open. But if you have where you do this and you have gaps in your fingers, that also means something. So, and one of the big ones that might be related to this personality type is a gap between your ring finger and your Mercury. That indicates somebody that is an independent thinker. So, and I believe that the king personality types, again, starts with an E and ends with a J. I also believe that your queens, which are your I's and ends with J, are also in this category. They are independent thinkers. So I believe that you will see this gap, because those are the leaders. Those are the ones that they don't follow someone else. They make up the rules, and most people follow them because they have that personality that just says, "I know what I'm doing," or like, you know what I mean. I'm not describing it well. um, I also believe that they will have a curved heart line. And curved because I believe that they have the tendency to be emotional, maybe over emotional when they're off balance. And a straight line is more indicating that they're not, their emotions are not part of, like, say, their decision making. So, whereas someone that is very in touch with their emotions, or their emotions are the reason they do things, they're going to have a curved heart line. It's still going to be deep. And, having islands and crosses and squares are going to be on any personality type. So that when I say deep, you're going to see a deep line, because there are people that have fainter lines. So those are people that, they, faint means that it's not there as much. It's almost like, it's exactly what you see is exactly what it means. Another thing that I love about palmistry. So the lifeline, or not the lifeline, the headline, I believe, is going to be curved and probably pointed down down towards your moon. It's still going to be deep. But I believe it's going to be down towards the moon, because that's where you might see more of the unrealistic characteristics show up when you're out of balance. But these are also people that follow their dreams. That's what drives them, is their inner desires, and they don't ignore them. And so, I mean, that line, I have the my headline points down towards my moon. You can have it to where it points up towards Mercury, which means that's somebody that mentally speaks what they mean. And this one here is maybe they're not going to completely tell you exactly how they feel. That doesn't mean that they won't, but it's hard for them. It's harder for them to convey that. When you have a headline that points up towards Mercury, it's a lot easier. Your lifeline is still going to be deep. It could be shorter, maybe broken, because emotions, when you are driven by emotions, it's sometimes it's a struggle. You might find someone that has more islands, because, again, a strong leader usually is somebody that is leading from experience. So they've already been there, they've done that. And how do we do that? We learn from our, the lessons. So they're going to have a strong thumb. So a strong thumb is like a bigger thumb. And we find our willpower in a strong thumb. Mine's medium. They might have a bigger, might still have a nice size upper outer Mars, because that's where you find your willpower. I believe Neptune is still going to be big, because Neptune is where you find your charisma. And then Venus is going to be decent size, because Venus speaks for itself. When we think of the goddess of love, the King of Cups is still going to, there's a lot of, if his emotions are driving him, it's because he cares, he or she. Let's see. They're going to have the healer marks. That's just as my opinion, but I believe that the ENFJ is definitely going to have a lot of healer marks, because it's in their personality to want to make the world a better place. Well, that means that they want to help other people. And that's what the lines of stigmata mean. And those are those vertical lines underneath Mercury. They're going to have a whirl on their index finger, I believe, because that shows an original thinker, So those are your trendsetters, and it shows leadership. I believe that an ENFJ, along with all the kings, are going to have a lot of squares in their hands. So let's see. Oh, and imagination, a big star somewhere on the moon mount is very indicative of that. Somebody that shows that they have, they're very imaginative. All right. I think besides that, I wanted to talk about the color of your hands. I don't think I covered that in the last. The ENTJ is going to have a lot of red in their hands because that's indicative of high energy, high passions. So the King of Cups could have that too, but I think the King of Cups is going to be more probably pink. And that's healthy. That's great. If you have yellow means there's like some jealousy in there. So something's not right. Your emotions are off and you're feeling, something's, jealousy is a lower vibrational type emotion, but it's still an emotion, it's still a feeling. Let's see. I think I've covered everything that I can think of at this point. So like I said, stay tuned because I am going to cover the hand shapes too. I'm going to go over those again because I think it's important. Oh, the other thing is Farah had asked about like the mounts and being fleshy or firm. So this is a good way to look at your hand, okay? You can see the mounts in my hand better if you look at it this way. And like for myself, I'm looking at it, and I'm seeing this where if you can look at it like this, it's much better. So, and you can see my Jupiter's big and it's crowding my Saturn. Now, actually somebody with the high Saturn it's almost going to look like this is one big old lump. So the rule of thumb is that flat means lacking, but it does not mean that it's not normal. Over excessive would be like my Jupiter is a little bit bigger. My Venus and my moon are a little bit bigger, but compared to somebody that has like a bulky palm, mine is average. So, this is a good way to look at your palm and see which mounts are prominent in your hand. And the biggest one is the one that is primarily indicates your personality type. So, and you have leadership qualities here, humanitarian here, your success, Apollo, and Mercury is communication. Venus is, love, beauty, even sex. And moon is your dreams and your inner workings. And then Mars is your fire, your aggressiveness, where your warrior attributes are found, So just take a look at that too. And I hope this was educational. It's educational for me to share it. So if you have any questions, put it down in the comments. I'll also have the Myers-Briggs test, the free one that I found that always tells me I'm an INFJ. I've actually taken it more than once, obviously. And I've actually taken different tests too to get that result. But this one is free and it's actually done for research. So it's actually, I like it. It's one of the preferred ones that I've found. And who wants to pay for that kind of test? I don't. So I will link that. And again, thank you so much for joining me. This is very fun for me. And again, it helps me to learn. So, again, let me know if you have any questions in the comments. And thank you to all of my subscribers and anyone that just watches this. give it a thumbs up or subscribe if you haven't subscribed. And I love you, and I hope you have a beautiful day. And I still forgot that I'm adding this at the end here because I still forgot to address Farah's question. Hey, that's how my brain works. Sometimes it just don't. Anyway, so fleshy or firm. So fleshy means overindulgent, an excess of, and it could possibly mean lazy. And so you want to take a look at like the ones that are fleshy and what amount they're fleshy in. Because if you add what fleshy is, then that means, that you are, you have a tendency to be overindulgent in that area, maybe lazy in that area. If it's firm, then you are firm in that area. That's, like I said, that's a wonderful thing about palmistry, is just knowing, what each mount is associated with. Then, the little things that you see, like kind of explain themselves. So there you go. And thank you again for watching and all your support. I appreciate it so much. I would have no reason to be here without it. And it means everything to me. So I will see you in the next video. And that is going to be the ESTJ, which is the King of Swords. So I will see you in the next video. And I love you guys. I love you very much.